Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's Joe here for Joyrider TV, and thanks for waiting. I was trying a scheduled kickoff time on YouTube, and that seemed to have worked nicely. I haven't actually tried that. Well, I have tried that before. I'd be lying if I said I hadn't. Hi, Steve. Hello, hello, hello. What's all this then? Yeah, so it is, of course, 5:30 here in Greece. I'm just at the table here. We've got some the studio audience. We've got Vangelis. He is a Hobie 16 sailor. He was featured on a show as Cat with his carumba. Then we've got Marco settling into a cold one. Then we've got Keith.
Hi.
He's just forcing down a warm one. Yeah, so here we are in the boat park. I just thought that we'd go for a bit of a Q&A session, if nothing else. Greetings from Germany, Prindle 16. Nice to have you on board there. Yes, excellent. Yeah, because I was thinking of going out on the water again for another live sailing video. It has been cross-shore earlier today. Hello, Christian. Yeah, it's been cross-shore earlier. I did get out sailing, and there'll be a video coming up very shortly. How can I avoid pitch poling, Joe? Straight in with a juicy question, and there's none juicier than the pitch pole question. Hello, Dave. A fat guy in a little boat. Nice to have you on board. I'll get back to the pitch polling question. CNA, hello. Hello, James. Great to have you all with us here in the Wild Wind Boat Park. So, how do you avoid pitch poling? The first and most significant method to avoid pitch poling is to always be in control of the main sheet. If you're sailing on a beam reach or a downwind course like a broad reach, or if we're going to speak German, on half wind or on Ramschutz, then if you're playing the main sheet, so if the main sheet is going in and out a lot, you are reducing the risk of pitch poling significantly. Hello, Lee. Nice to have Malden with us, keeping it real from the east coast of England. Yeah, so, oh, hello, Rob, in South Africa, I believe. Nice to have you with us, as always. We're just here in the Wild Wind Boat Park. What type of main sheet is on the... Hold on, I'll just scroll back. What type of main sheet is on the C2? Is it tapered Dyneema or the same diameter all the way through? It is, the one we've got on the C2 is a constant diameter, very straightforward. Hi, Frank. Frank from Lake Ontario there. Nice to have you with us. Yeah, so the C2 main sheet, just standard. I did have some main sheets on the boats, but to be honest, I didn't really like them. I prefer just, if you've got the diameter of the main sheet right. Hi, Dawson. Nice to have you with us. If you've got the diameter of the main sheet right, then I prefer that. I think for the extra little bit of weight of a bit more rope, and I prefer that just because you know where you are. There won't be any thick bits in the rope. Did the SL 15.5 good? Hi, Stephen. Nice to have you with us. All right, the SL 15.5. To be honest, I can't really comment on that because I've never even seen one. I do know that I think it's a French design. The SL 16 was the youth boat for a while, which makes me think it's obviously a good boat if it's been chosen to be the youth class by World Sailing, but that is as much as I can comment on that at this time. Okay, just until anything else comes in, more on how to avoid the pitch pole. So, not having the jib in too much. Hi, Ollie. And hi, Matthew. And you're welcome. Yeah, not having the jib in too tight. That is a big one. You could, if you're sailing in strong enough wind, if your jib's too tight, and there's a big gust, maybe you're on a beam reach, you've totally dumped the main, you could just pitch pole on the jib. So that, as well as the main sheet needed to be going in, the jib needs to be ready to be released. Hi, Andy, that's not the one and only, is it? A good monkey is a key, absolutely. How to tell the difference between rudder hum and rigging. Oh my goodness, that is a tough one, James. Did you find you see more damage from UV on the boats and not covered up? Tricky dicky, there's no need for that, I'm sure. You'll have to tell me the context, because apparently there's two types of blokes. Hold on, I'm trying to get back to this question. Yeah, the rudder hum versus rigging hum, yeah, very difficult to actually put that into words. So, more damage on... Yes, this... all right, UV damage with boats being stored in these harsh conditions. Like, this will be the same for the guys in Australia and South Africa, Brazil, or anywhere where, probably Florida as well, and the more sunny parts of the USA. Best thing you can do is to get like a sun cover for the trampoline. That is the first line of defense. Yes, I agree there that it's like the exhaust. So one thing we do here for the UV with the boats on the beach, let's just flip this bad boy round, is we put covers on the rudder blades, because in my opinion rudders are so important and keeping them in nice condition is very, very important. So we're covering our rudder blades to keep the UV off, and that way perhaps they're just going to last a bit longer and give you that higher degree of control there. Then to have, are the EPOs better because they're stiffer? Oh my goodness, you've got the plastic ones. Yeah, you do not. Oh yeah, if you are doing, oh, I don't know why I did that. If you're doing like 18 knots on the speed stick, those plastic rudder blades will be letting you down because they just bend like some sort of banana or something. So either the EPOs or the white knight rudder blades, which are the previous sort of standard rudder blades you'd get, that is what you need, because those rudder blades are very, very stiff. There's either no or very little bend in them at all. But the reason why I really like the EPOs compared to the white knight rudder blades is that the EPOs don't snap. The white knight rudder blades do snap. I can say that the EPOs don't snap because I bought, for our 16s, we've got 6 16s, that's 12 rudder blades. I bought 12 rudder blades. I think it was 5 years ago now, and we're still running the same rudder blades. We haven't snapped one, whereas when we're on the white knight rudder blades, on average, we would be snapping probably one every 2 weeks. Okay, just going back through the questions here. Have you ever done the East Coast Piers race? Yes, I have. I did it, I think it was 94, and I did that on a Dart 6000, sailing with the one and only Brian Phipps, who is famous because he wrote the Catamaran book, and he runs Wind Sport, which is probably the best catamaran sailing facility in the UK, I would say. That's down in Cornwall, very good. Yes, I did do the Piers race. We did the first day, we won the first day, and then the second day we got a banging start, port flyer, absolutely caning it, and then capsized. Somebody on the boat jumped into the mast, might have been me, and the mast snapped, and that was that. That was my East Coast Piers race. Thank you. All right, going back to the questions. Hello, Stefan, by the way. Nice to have you with us. All right, here's one from Frank. If you feel resistance on the tiller when sailing, what adjustments might need to be made? This is a very good question. What this probably is that if you've got a lot of weather helm, so you're having to pull the rudders constantly as you're going along, this will be because the rudder's not locked down enough. So when your rudder locks down, let's say we're speaking a little bit generally here, but your rudder blade wants to be going all the way. In fact, let's have a look at a, just try to think if I've got one out. All right, hold on. I'm going to go through the comments and questions in a jiffy when I get back on this rudder thing. Yeah, it's pretty gusty at the moment. You might be hearing some whistling through the boat park. That is a strong offshore wind. Yes. Okay, so weather helm, which is what we're calling having to constantly pull the rudders, it could be caused by the rudders not being set up correctly, or it could be because the mainsail's in too tight. But on a catamaran like a Hobie 16, for example, or in fact most catamarans, that weather helm is more likely to be caused by the rudders not locking down correctly. I'm just going to flip you around. I'll go back to the other comments shortly, but I just thought I'd finish this one because this is juicy. All right, so here we have the rudder stock. So what we want is when the rudder is going down, we want the rudder blade to be going as far forwards in the stock as possible, so that it can't, when it's locked down, it can't come back at all. So if your rudder blade can come back at all, that is going to make your steering heavy. So that is going to amplify everything else that is going on the boat. So perhaps if you are oversheeting the main a bit, that's going to make it heavier. So what you have to do is adjust the rudder locking so that the blade is locked tight right in there and it can't come back at all. Other areas where it might come back is we've got the rudder pin here going down here. If there's any movement forwards and backwards in there, that is gonna give you that heavy steering. Or if you have got a boat that's got the adjustment screw, if that is going in too far, stopping your rudder blade going all the way in, that is going to give you heavy steering. But those are the main things which will give you heavy steering. Other things might be that possibly your mast is too far to the back. That will make the steering heavier, because if you imagine that, let's say the mainsail is the load, and if you're putting the load further back, it's putting the load more onto the rudders, which is going to make the rudders heavier. Yeah, so that's going to make them heavier. But it's not worth changing anything until you're happy with how your rudders are set up, because 90% of the time, the heavy steering will be coming from the rudders and how they're set up. So get those bad boys set up nicely, and then if you go out sailing and it's still heavy, then you can start looking at something else. If you have got a Hobie, and top tips there from Nitro, I can't keep up with, oh yeah, there's, yeah, so yeah, if you are sailing a Hobie and you've got any rudder blades that aren't the EPO 3s, just check the rudder blades. In fact, any boat, check the rudder blades for splits on the front edge. If your rudder blades are split on the front edge, that means that they can bend excessively, which again will make them very heavy. All right, I'm just going to backpedal through the comments here. Hello Bradley, nice to have you there in the USA. Hobie High Life crew checking in. I noticed some of the Hobie tiller arms have an adjustment screw. Okay, I think I get what you mean there, Jeff. Oh, okay, just going back. What do you think of foiling boats? Very good. It is the evolution of sailing, but I'm still very much into boats that sit on the water, because that's what I do. The traditional boats like the Hobie 16, the F18 and the Tornado being my main place where I put myself. Yes, okay, just coming back. All right, what did we have? Oh, Dolphin Striker, I still haven't done it. Okay, apologies there for having not still done the Dolphin Striker tension. But in a nutshell, what we're doing, all I've got is the numbers for the Hobie 16. I think I did actually do in a previous video about Dolphin Striker tension on an F18, which is quite different. But on the Hobie 16, what we're doing is we are measuring, can we flip this around? Yeah, measuring between the bolts on the front, which is the center of the hull, and then taking that measurement, taking a measurement at the back, which will be between the rudder pins at the back, and then this is just, I think this is right, but the measurement at the front should be somewhere between 3.5 and 4.5 centimeters smaller than that at the back. The bigger difference will be if you are a heavier team, I think. But yeah, don't rely on that as being accurate information. I'm going to make a video on Dolphin Striker tension, but you're not going to believe it, but I have been quite busy and haven't got round to it, because that is going to be a juicy one. All right, so Jeff from gearreport.com asked about the adjustment screw being just on one side. Is this what you mean? So here we've got a tiller connecting bar as standard on a Hobie. Have you ever done offshore racing? No. Hi Kush, nice to have you with us. Never did any offshore racing. So on a Hobie, any update on when Wellwyn take its first customers? Yes, I can answer that straight away. We're going to be opening July the 1st. If you can get here, we'll take you. There we go, laying that down. If you can get here, we will take you. If you're allowed here, not that adjustment, the one on the starboard side tiller arm casting. Okay, all right, back to Jeff's adjustment. Are you talking about this one? Yep. Okay, that adjustment on, it's quite strange if you've only got it on one side. that should be on both of your tillers, and what that adjustment does is that is what pulls the rudders right into the rudder stocks. That is the angle that the rudders are going to lock down in. I would strongly suggest watching the Service Your Rudders video. It is a very good one. It's one of the older ones, but it's very good. Tiller setups with no adjustment at all. Oh my goodness, how do you survive? Any tips for raising a mast single-handed? Yeah, I would say, I'm sorry to put this to you, but check out the raising the mast single-handed video that I made. What I'll do is, after this video has been published, which would usually take longer than you'd expect, so it'll be like tomorrow morning, I'll go through the comments and I'll answer the comments and put links to the relevant videos next to your questions. My 1982 doesn't have that rudder adjustment. Yeah, I think the problem is this rudder adjustment only probably came in a bit later. I couldn't say what year. Would you consider doing some more videos on the Hobie Pacific? Love to. We love the Pacific, and everybody loves the Pacific. The Pacific is very easy to sail. It's got volume and it's very nice. Hi, Lewis. Oh, where'd you get your spare parts from? Hi, Steve. Nice to have you with us. And all right, so where do we get our spare parts from in Greece? We get all of our spare parts directly from Hobie Cat Europe in France. We are of a size enough that we are allowed to buy our parts directly from Hobie Cat in France. That's Hobie Cat Europe. Woohoo! That's an offshore gust. But the place where I would suggest getting Hobie parts from, there's Austria Marine in Thessaloniki, who are, I think they're still the official Hobie dealer for Greece. But before we were getting our Hobie parts from France, we were getting our Hobie parts from Hobie Cat in Holland, because we were buying some second-hand boats from them as well. And Hobie Cat in Holland have got the best range, the best customer service, very good indeed. Hi, Duncan. I am well. Yes, I hope you're well too. Yeah, so there we go. But if there's any spare parts that you need and you're sailing a Hobie in Greece, get in touch. Let me know what it is that you need, and there's a chance that I might have one that I can send to you, which would be very efficient. There's a chance I might even have a used one, which would be cheaper. Okay, let's just go back. Oh, these anti-pitch pole planes, I've never used them. And I think if you're going to drive the bows in hard enough, those things aren't going to do a thing. If the bows are going to go, they're going to go. Perhaps they'll help a bit, perhaps more for, like in waves. So if it's a wave powered nosedive, it'll probably do more against that. Whereas if it's a wind powered nosedive, no chance you're going in. That is just my opinion, which may be wrong. Okay, nice to have you with us, Dom. Nice that you made it in live. Right, just going through the comments here, seeing if there's anyone with a screwdriver. Yes, that is the way. Okay, and hello to everyone I didn't say hello to yet. All right, I think. Oh, I think we had Ian with what is, woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. God, hold on to your hats. That's got to be, hold on, you want to see, this is what we're putting up with here. What's happening in Vasiliki Bay right now is we've got the northwesterly wind that comes like this, which fuels our normal cross shore, but today we've got too much of it, which is fueling this bit of ridiculousness that is going on. Oh my goodness. That is quite a lot. Yes, what is a good beginner's boat? If we're talking about beginner's catamaran, there's been a bit of chat about this in the comments from various videos, but I feel, well, the best beginner's boat, I think, as far as a catamaran is concerned, would be, if you're sailing with 2 or more people, a Hobie 15 is very good indeed. But you could look at a Hobie Getaway as well, which is a plastic constructed boat. What catamaran did I start out on? I started on a Dart 18. Now the Dart 18 is a good choice. The one negative point about the Dart 18 is it is quite fragile. But other than that, the actual sailing of the boat is really good. It's easy to sail. You can sail it with 1 or 2 people very equally. It's well designed. It's quite light, so easy to manage on Hobie Getaway is the goat. Yeah, I've never actually sailed a Prindle in my life, but I am really keen to get either a 15 or a 16 out here, because it seems that they are very popular, and I would be doing Joyrider TV an injustice if I didn't actually try one. But maybe we'll keep it for my tour of the USA. Will the Ionian Regatta be on this year? Hi Andy. Possibly might be the best we can do. Okay, for those of you who don't know, the Ionian Regatta is a race that goes on from here when you're going to be touring the USA. I think we're looking at 3 years at least. The Ionian Regatta, we go out from here, we turn left, we go round a small island, not that one, that's Ithaca, that's big. We go round a small island and into the next bay, which is behind this hill, called Civita. It's about 25 nautical miles, and then in Civita there is a party where people drink booze, which is fun. But as of last year, the Ionian Regatta had a different format. We actually organised the whole thing, and it wasn't as big as before, but it was very good. So if we're organising it, I watched all the videos, but are there any hotels around? Yes, just Zoop. Yeah, so just finishing with the Ionian Regatta. If we are open in one way or another, the Ionian Regatta will be going on. Oh my goodness, that is a good question, Dawson Ellis. I'll get onto that one. Yeah, so there are hotels around. What the people coming and staying with us here at Arbwin Sailing Holidays have got a choice of, we use 2 main hotels and a third. So this is the first one here, just next to that palm tree. Very nice. You've obviously got the boat park and sea view, very well appointed. The other one we use is just there, equally nice and very nice. And then we use another building which is just a little bit further down the beach, just beyond that tree, which is equally nice and very nice for families, because the rooms are a bit bigger. You get joining rooms, very nice indeed. But there are many hotels in the village and surrounding area, and if you are thinking of coming out and you're thinking of not staying with us, then what is going on? But Yeah, good plan, Just Zoop. Yeah, I think it's a very good plan. Come out and get involved with some of this champagne sailing. But I'm probably not meant to say this, but Airbnb. You can find everything that's available in the whole town. But of course, you'll be missing out on the whole experience. All right, just going to go back through the questions. Least favourite boat that I've ever sailed. Whoa. Okay, we've got a comment of the Laser Vago. The Laser Vago was, yeah, not my favourite, but not my least favourite. I'm sure there's been worse. Oh, what, the Vortex? Yeah. Had a maybe. Okay, I'll get back to that one. Yeah, everything I've enjoyed most of it, to be honest. There's someone making a foiling Dragoon in Belgium. Nice. Can't wait to see that. The Dragoon, great boat. So that's not going to be there on the least favourite list. Everything that we've got here, I do like. I have to say it. Yeah, I'd say probably the least favourite times out on a sailing boat have been, like, it could have been on a Hobie 16, but it was just so badly set up that that it was horrible. That would probably be it. The catapult looks bad. But I dare say the catapult is nice to sail. I don't think you can write anything off. And oh, nice one, lovely. Yeah, I think everything has got its place and its purpose, and there's a reason behind it. But everything that I've sailed, I started off sailing on mirror dinghies and wayfarers, and I liked that at the time as well. So yeah. Okay, backpedaling here through the questions. SNS Product had a Hobie Getaway, and he's now got a Hobie 20. Hold on. About to go on for the first time. Anything you should know? Yes. Just take it easy in terms of how much wind you're going out in on your first time out. Build yourself up to the stronger wind. Don't go out in the really light, in the strong wind on your first time out, because you'll find it quite intimidating. And what happens on catamarans is you have like a vicious circle of fear. Like, if you're out on the boat, you get intimidated and you start trying to sail slowly, it actually makes the boat more, how do I say, it makes the boat seem more aggressive, perhaps more jumpy and more out of control. So as you get scared, the boat becomes more frightening because you are trying to sail slowly. So it makes the boat more intimidating. So you try to sail slowly again, and then it just keeps getting worse and worse. So with any new type of boat, highly recommended for the first couple of goes, get out in the light winds first and build yourself up to the stronger winds. That would be a good idea. Okay, that would be my main suggestion. What should mast angle be after connecting the jib halyard on a 16? James says just give it the beans. That's good advice as well. It depends who you are and what you like, of course, and what you're into. Okay, with the mast rake question that came from Kush there, I'd have to steer you towards the Hobie 16 rig tuning video. I'll put the link when I go through these comments later on. So there we are. That because I can't actually tell you exactly how it should look. But what we're looking for with the mast rake on a 16 is so that when you're cranking the main sheet in as hard as you can, like almost both hands cranking it in, is that you can just get the main sheet block to block. On mainsailing, no jib. Oh yeah, that's a good question actually. With the if you saw the video that I made about going out on the 16 just with the mainsail, you want to crank on as much rig tension as you possibly can, because what that's going to do is bring the center of effort of the mainsail further forwards, which is going to help to balance the boat better. Because before, if you consider the whole rig as a one thing, then that means the center of effort of the whole rig will be further forwards than it will be if you get rid of the jib and you've just got the mainsail. So get the rig as tight as possible when just on the mainsail, and happy days will be here again. Got a new video coming out later on. I just went out and filmed it this afternoon, and you're going to like this. Let's just call it the ultimate high wind weapon if you've got a Hobie 16. That's exciting. Right, just going to scroll back through the questions. Can Nacra F15 be sailed by a crew at 100 kilos? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that is the kind of pocket that we're looking at with the Nacra 15. If you're talking about the foiling youth boat 15, I think that's what they're looking at. And they've just launched the Nacra 15 FCS, which is, it's just had a few tweaks, but very exciting. But I don't sail Nacra, so I don't really know much about it apart from what I see on the internet, and I do think it looks nice. Expensive, but nice. Right, just scrolling back through. Okay, good question here from Ted. If you were to come to Vasiliki as a local tourist, could you come and sail with us by the hour, by the half day, by the day? Answer, yes you can, as long as we're not fully booked. But on the other hand, can you book? No, you can't, because we always have to keep as much of our availability available for the people who are staying with us here as possible. So if you're staying in the village and you want to come sailing with us, you are kind of rolling the dice a little bit, but we will always have things available. Might not be at exactly the time which is most convenient for you, or the type of boat that you really had your eye on, but we'll always have something. Thank you for the question. That was a good one. Dawson here. Pablo. Hobie 16 spinnaker opinions, experiences. Yeah, the only Hobie 16 spinnaker sailing I did was in Mauritius. You can check out the videos from earlier this year. And I thought the spinnaker on the 16, I would put a spinnaker on your 16 if you're looking at doing some long distance sailing. I'd say for any other type of sailing, like if you're just doing like in an area like this kind of sailing, or if you're mostly going to be sailing in light wind, then I wouldn't bother. That would be when it'd be worth putting the spinnaker on. But if you're going out and going to be sailing in, let's say, trapezing conditions, most of the time, I wouldn't bother putting a spinnaker on the 16. The great thing about the Hobie 16, is that it is so simple and pure. Pure. All right, just scrolling back. There's been a lot coming in. Have I ever sailed a trimaran? I've only sailed one trimaran. I was left responsible for a dragonfly, which I think was 28 feet long, and loved it. Fantastic. Such a wide boat. I loved the width. That amount of width is fantastic. just in answer to Krusty Burger there, is there a particular website where you could buy Hobie 16 Spinnaker? If you're looking for the whole thing, then the best thing to do is to go on the Hobie Cat website and find your local dealer for Hobie Cats, and then they'll be able to steer you in the right direction if they haven't got one themselves. You could, if you wanted to, put your Spinnaker kit together yourself. You could source a piece of aluminium tube for the bowsprit, get a sailmaker to make you the Spinnaker, and you could then source all the blocks and everything. It's quite a lot of work, but you'd probably save it'd probably be about half the price of buying one from the manufacturer. So worth looking into. And you're not going to believe it, but I have done a video on what you would need if you wanted to fit a Spinnaker to your boat, but you didn't want to buy the kit from the manufacturer. Hold on, just pedaling back. What are your opinion on inflatable cats? Never actually tried an inflatable catamaran, but as I said earlier, there is a place for everything to make it possible for everybody to get out on the water. I know that in places where people don't have much space, the inflatable boats are a very good choice. Easy to transport, lightweight, compact. You're not going to get the same performance that you get out of a fiberglass boat. Yeah, if it means you're getting out on the water compared to not getting out on the water, then surely that is a good thing. All right, hold on, just scrolling back. My goodness, the questions are coming thick and fast today. So we did Spinnaker, we did trimaran, we did inflatable cat. Best way to launch a catamaran from a beach single-handed. Recently bought a Dart 15. Yeah, it is a bit of a juggle. If you haven't got any help, yeah, to be honest, I haven't got all the answers. But what I would do, let's say I was going to go out sailing from here. Let's flip this bad boy round. Okay, so going out sailing from here, what I would do is, of course, firstly, I would push the boat into the water and I'd tie a rope onto the launching trolley. That is going to help. And then once the boat's in the water, pulling on the rope to pull the trolley out. And then the difficult bit is going to be getting your trolley onto the beach while your boat is going to try to leave. So what I would do is very gently nose the boat up onto the beach so the boat is kind of sat on the beach a bit. Of course, if you're sailing somewhere where you're launching off a concrete slipway or perhaps on a rocky beach, this is going to become tricky. But like Jurassic Park taught us, life will find a way. But that's what I do. I just nose it onto the beach, park the trolley very quickly, and then get back in and off you go. That's the best I can do there at this time. All right, I'm just going to scroll back. What's a good price for a second-hand Hobie 16? Depends if you're buying it or selling it. But if you can get a Hobie 16 which is ready to go for, let's say, less than €1,000, if we can speak in euros. Hi Max, nice to have you with us. Then that is really good. Things to look out for are the trampoline. Make sure that the trampoline isn't about to rip in half, which should be quite obvious when you look at it. If it's a PVC one, it's all brittle, there's things flaking off it, that's going to cost you. And the other big one would be check that the hulls aren't soft by giving it, it's kind of like giving the hull a bit of CPR. If that moves in and out, both on the top and on the sides, that is the main bad thing that you're looking for. If that's going on, probably best avoid that boat. But you're not going to believe it, but I've made a video on what to look for when buying a used boat. So again, I'll try to link that up afterwards. But €1,000 would be probably the cheapest that a decent, a seaworthy 16 would come for. All right, I'm just scrolling back. I'm buying a used 16 for 6,500. Is that a good amount for a used Hobie in Australia? Yeah, sounds good. Just depends on the boat. If you convert that into euros, let's say €1,000 would be a very, perhaps not even old, a really tired looking boat. Whereas I would say for a used boat like what we've got here, something like this, you'd probably be looking at about €4,500. So unfortunately, you're going to have to do the maths there, but that's what I would be looking for if I was buying one of these bad boys. What is the advantage over the Aussie style jib system? Good question. Now, as far as I'm aware, the Aussie style jib system is what we've got here. If you're an Aussie and this is wrong, then do point this out. But in fact, I can show you the old style jib system there. But this is the jib halyard coming from down the mast. Comes down, bottom of the mast, we've got a pulley. We go back up. We've got another pulley. We come down. We've got a cam cleat, which grips the rope. We then come down and we've got a horn cleat. This gives us a bit more purchase, makes it easier to get the rig tension on, and that's nice. And then we've got 2 cleats, which is nice as well, makes everything easier. All right, now if we just, can we do this? Yes, we can. Okay, if we just venture across the boat park, hello C2. All right, just venturing across the boat park to have a look at the, let's call it the old school jib halyard system, which would be the same as on a Hobie 15, which we've got here. And I did see there's a Hobie 15. Hi, Herbert. So on the Hobie 15, the jib halyard comes down the mast and then just goes to 1 cleat on the front of the mast. So that is all you've got there, which just means it's a little bit more effort to get your rig tension on, and there's a bit more load on that horn cleat there. Not that that is ever going to be a problem. Okay, just back pedaling through here. Oh, here we go. How much time it takes to assemble a Hobie 16 if you don't know. If you've got your Hobie 16, if you're able to store it as a platform, that means kind of like this, with the hulls together, maybe with the trampoline on, then to assemble the boat from that, once you've done it once, should take you about half an hour, 45 minutes from that to sails up, ready to go. If you have to put the hulls together as well and the trampoline on, you're probably looking at about an hour and a half total time to go from pile of bits to in the water. And that is once you've done it a few times, so it's not just completely confusing. You're not going to believe it, but I made a video for that as well. The assembly of the Hobie 16, made quite a few videos on that. topic. Learn to sail my Prindle 16. Yes. So the techniques that the reason that we're quite heavy on the Hobie 16 here, thank you very much, very kind. You're looking to sail some races. You just have to look at where it is that you live. Look what fleets are in the clubs that are near to where you live, and then choose the type of boat according. If you're looking to hold on now, how you're saying. If you're looking to get into competition sailing against boats of the same type is the best. So look at the local clubs, see what other people are sailing at those local clubs, and see what's within your budget, and then respond accordingly. But if you haven't done much cat sailing before, I wouldn't go steaming straight into an F18 or F16. Starting with a Hobie 16 is the perfect place to start, because, back to the point, why are most of the instructional videos regarding the Hobie 16? It's because the Hobie 16 does not forgive bad technique. So if you can do it on a 16, you can do it on anything apart from a 14, as we proved last week. So, but the other reason why we're heavy on the 16 is because it is the most popular catamaran in the world, and because it is such a joy to sail. And can a 500 be used for racing? Which sort of 500? You'd have to... Hobie 16s for life, man. I agree. You could get a Hobie 16 when you're 15 years old, and then maybe when you're 25, let's say, you could get your second Hobie 16. Oh, Nacra 500. You can race a Nacra 500. That would be sweet. The only thing is, you're not going to find a lot of other Nacra 500s to race against. So you'd have to do handicap racing, but that's fine as well. If you've already got one, then you should just do it, I think. All right, I'm going to wrap this up pretty soon. Very sorry if I didn't get to your questions. I'm just scrolling back. But as TD Fitch 03 asked, the techniques are the same for everything fundamentally. If we're doing it on a 16, means that is a good technique. Like, for example, tacking, jibing, that kind of thing, trapezing, it'll be the same. Yeah, thanks very much. Thank you to everybody. Okay, would your optimum downwind angle change with sailing? No, whether you've got just a mainsail or remain at a jib, your optimal downwind sailing angle will be the same. Here we have got some tapes. So we're going to want these bad boys flying straight across the boat, 90 degrees, like this. When's the next chat session? We'll be back on the beach next Wednesday at 5:30 Greek time. If it's not going to be Wednesday, then I'll put a message in the community thing on YouTube, but also on the Total Joyrider Facebook page as well. If you're not yet signed up for the Total Joyrider Facebook page, you might as well jump on there as well, just to make sure you don't miss anything. And it is quite a handy way of communicating with everyone. It seems that the community tab on YouTube doesn't get looked at quite so much. In fact, could I say, if you are seeing any posts off the community tab, which is just a written post on YouTube, if you read it, could you just hit a like on that message, just so that I know that you've read it and I know how many people those messages are reaching? Just hit the thumbs up on that. That would be really handy. All right, just seeing if there's any easy questions left. Okay. Hobie 16 is for life. Okay, I think we're pretty much there. I think... Okay, I think Herbert is asking here. He wants to put a Hobie 16 mast on a 15. The main difference is the length of the mast. The section is the same. So you'd have to cut the mast down. And then the issue is going to be Hobie 16 weight limit. These will take some weight. I'd say, actually, I'll come back to that. I'll finish with the mast question. As we look up at a mast, the thing is, the hounds there are a certain distance from the top of the mast, and of course a certain distance from the bottom. So you could think, all right, I'll take a Hobie 16 mast and chop whatever it is, a metre off the bottom of the mast, put it on my 15, but then you're going to have too much mast above the top, so you're going to have to cut it off the top as well. It's going to be a mission. That's what there's. So you're probably going to have to cut a bit off the bottom and off the top, unless you want to move the hounds. But moving the hounds is a bad idea, because there's about 12 rivets that holds that fitting on there, and if you get rid of all those rivets, that's going to be a weak spot. So you're better off cutting the top, cutting the bottom, and then just make sure, if you're doing anything with your mast, sealing the mast is absolutely essential. Okay, I think I'm not going to accept, the Hobie 16, the Hobie 16 weight limit. Thank you, Krusty. It's great to have those sort of comments. It makes me feel strong. Hobie 16 weight limit. Well, minimum weight limit for racing, I believe, is 125 kilos. It is for racing, it is the choice of the lighter team, which is why you get a lot of mixed teams, younger people perhaps. And then the upper weight limit, I've sailed a Hobie 16 with 200 kilos. Granted, it was windy. Best fun I'd had in a long time. But I'd say more than 200 kilos, that's two people, is too much. If you're going to be sailing with three people, the 16's not going to be so good. You're better off with a boat with bigger hulls, like the Hobie 18 Classic, which was designed for heavier people. Like if you and the person you sail it with are more of a combined weight than like 145 kilos, let's say, then you're much better off sailing a boat with more volume in the hulls, such as an 18 Classic, an F18, Tornado, or Prindle 18 too. I've heard they're quick. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to hang this up because we've been almost an hour, and that's as much as I can cope with just now. So keep your eye out later. If you're not yet subscribed, then how did you even get here? But if you're not yet subscribed, then do subscribe. Give this video a like before you go. Thank you very much. Cambridge, I think that's Stephen, isn't it? Thank you very much for tuning in, everybody. It's been a very fast moving question and answer. I think I've just about managed to keep up with it. So thanks very much. And so we'll be back next Wednesday with more of this. If not, something very special. Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, Chris. Something very special as soon as I get it uploaded. Yeah, we need beers next time. You're quite right. Thank you, Krusty Burger. Yeah, so there we go. Next week.